Welcome back everybody to another fast flip with our Series 1 Lotus Elise. We're going to do this car up and make some serious money for our charity, Birmingham Children's Hospital. So in video 1, it looked like this. Today's car is a Series 1 Lotus Elise. And since then we've done 1 or 2 tiny little jobs to it. And now it looks like this. I reckon it looks awesome now. Almost needs like an external roll cage over it and go bang a race in, or like a desert Dakar rally. Jack it up a bit with big knobblies on. If you saw the last video, I've done the head gasket. That runs absolutely sweet now. And I've unseized the brakes, but I don't know if you can hear the discs. They definitely need changing, they're knackered, and the brake pedal just goes to the floor. So that's something we've got to do next, but I want to get it outside now while it's on its wheels. Let's hit it with the jet wash. Let's go. So giving our Lotus Elise a good wash off, I'm just going to do a little test in this front wheel arch area. All the body panels are bonded on with glue, and the last thing I want to use is something too acidic. Mounts the glue and then the front windscreen flies off at 70 miles an hour. So I've bought some non-caustic, non-acidic tar and glue remover. I've really weakened it down to 50:1, and I'm just going to gently spray it on this area and then let it soak in for 10 minutes. Already I can see the difference. It's looking much better. Yeah, that's going to work well. So going over the rest of the car, this is the wettest this Elise is ever going to be in its life. I'm going to spray this TFR all over the place. We're going to go in all the wheel arches, down the sills, all over the radiator, front cover, over those aluminium door bars, and then all over that engine and in the boot area. Once that's done, I'm going to let it soak for about half an hour and then start blasting it off. I'm not going to be careful at this stage. Let's just get this as clean as possible. And I think, yeah, it's looking real good. I'm going to get in the engine, get all around it. I know the head's clean, but where that head gasket was leaking, there's a lot of oil down the back of the block and on the gearbox. So I'm going to really get the nozzle in and give it a good go over. It looks really good, but I think I'm just going to spray it all round again and give it one more blast. I can't believe how clean it's come up. It looks awesome. I think it was definitely worth taking that front off, because now getting in there with the jet wash, I mean, you can even read the part numbers on the crash box. It's come up that clean. And then up here, all around the brake fluid reservoir and all these plastics, just looks like new again, which is good. Going into the engine at the back, we got this bit of crud on the boot floor. That's proper ground in, but yeah, all around here, all around the engine, it's looking proper good. The only thing that lets it down now are the rusty bits. You've got this bar here that I think the tow eye goes in and it holds the front grille on. That's proper rusty. And then these suspension arms, they're really bad, they are. I think originally they come in like a zinc coating, and that's just disappeared. It looks awful. So that's the next thing to sort. Let's get it up in the air. Let's do the brakes and the suspension. Let's go. Right. Let's have a look at this suspension. It looks even worse now it's clean, if that's possible. The arms are quite pitted. I don't think we'll be able to replate them because it will just look real naff. So I think we'll get them in the shop blaster, get them as clean as possible, and give them a nice thick coat of black paint. Right, caliper. Looks like it's just these 2 Allen keys to undo. And then we'll tuck that out the way onto the crash box. And then we can get our brake disc off. Now, Lotus suspension, you'd think it'd all be adjustable bolts that you can just quickly adjust, but it's not. It's actually, let's get the wire brush, like washers or shims, I suppose they are. The more shims you have, the more the wheel is upright. The less you have, the more camber you get. And they are really rusty. So we need to strip all this off. It's got aluminium. I think they're aluminium. Yeah, aluminium uprights on it. I bet they are mega bucks as well. Right, let's just rip all this off. So let's unbolt the steering rack. We're gonna have to push that in the body so we can get to that bolt that holds the upper arm on, but actually we can't get to the nut behind it. So the suspension, those really rusty shock absorbers are gotta come off. Then the mount at the top there that is just as rusty, and then we can get to the bolts on that upper arm. Once that's out the way, this aluminium upright can come off, and then all we got left is this lower suspension arm and anti-roll bar link. It looks just as bad as the top one, I'll have to admit. Hopefully this is not seized. Yeah, he says. As the bolt goes tight. Yeah, 2 bolts and then everything will be off. Been nice and easy so far. As the link rod bolt is seized. Whatever that coating was that Lotus used, it's shocking. It's just flaking all off. It's like, it's solid, but it's not protected it very well at all. We're ready to clean them up. It'd be good to have something to compare them with once they're all looking like brand new and shiny. So I think we'll get the other side off and lay it on the bench just like this. And looking at the passenger side, it's actually even more rusty, if that's possible. But yeah, let's get cracking. Let's do a better job than what Lotus did originally. Let's go. So with these suspension arms, I'm just going to gently put them in my blast cabinet. I haven't got a really harsh media in there. It's only sodium, so it's going to be nice and gentle on these suspension arms, but still bring them up like new. So getting through them one at a time, it does take a little while, but it's such a satisfying job when they turn out like this. Once the driver's side suspension is all blasted and clean, we're ready to primer it. Now the primer I'm using is direct to metal. It's got a glue in it. It goes on mega thick, but because it's so thick, it's going to take 3 to 4 hours to dry. So while that's drying, we're going to get on with this, which is the hub. It is proper dirty, covered in brake dust, paint, road dirt. It's mega grimy. So I think I'm going to use all of those 3 hours up, to be fair, cleaning this. To clean these hubs up, I did try everything. The jet wash wouldn't touch it, brake cleaner, panel wipe and thinners. In the end, it just took hours and hours of elbow grease. But if you have a look at it now, compared to what it was, it's a lot better. I mean, there's still a few bits around the edge and where it's sort of et into the aluminium, but the car's 28 years old at the end of the day. It looks a million times better than what it was. But yeah, the primer's dry, so it's time to paint all those suspension arms. I'm gonna use just straight satin black. It looks better on suspension arms, I think. And already, yeah, they're looking like brand new. It's took a while. Have a look at that. Isn't it great laying them out next to the old ones? You can see a massive difference. I mean, these lower arm compared to the ones we've cleaned up, looks ideal. And them hubs, which were a right pain, you've got that one over there I ain't touched. And then this one, this car is gonna look mint when we've got it back together. I have bought other bits to put on with all the suspension when we rebuild it. So let's get cracking. So the first purchase for the Elise is new bolts for those lower and upper suspension arms. Now you won't be able to see them. They're in there and with the body and the arch liners on. Yeah, no one will know, but I'll know at the end of the day. And you look at those things, they've lasted 28 years. They just look naff, don't they? So yeah, brand new ones going on. Gonna look ideal. Also, I've bought some new nuts and bolts for our shock absorbers. The very rusty shock absorbers. It's a shame putting these back on. You can see there the original IBAC badge on that coilover, but after all the work we've done making this suspension look better, we just can't stick those on. So eBay, buy it, sell it, love it. I've managed to find some. Look at those, look at the difference in that. The chap took them off his Lotus Elise 20 years ago, kept them in the box in his house, and they are as good as you're gonna get. Mint. 620 quid though, it's well worth it. So let's carry on. And then the last thing I've bought for the front is a new set of discs and pads. Funnily enough, the front disc and the rear disc on this Elise are identical, which is a first for me. Also, I've bought new braided brake hoses because the old ones, you can see the ferrule, it's not bad, but it's starting to rust. And then this metal spring that goes around and protects the hose, it's just knackered, isn't it? With the front on and all the arch liners in, that is going to be a nightmare to change. So why not change it now? These, they were £100, but it's going to be well worth it. So that's it, last things to do. And then the front end of our Elise is all finished. I'm proper chuffed with how it's turned out. I mean, I've done this over 2 days. Going back to yesterday, before I washed it, when it was all dirty, covered in cobwebs and rust, to today, where everything's clean, it's all painted up nice, just the job. Even the brakes, I mean, those old discs, proper rusty. The pads were stuck originally, and now whoever buys this car is going to have no trouble with this front end at all. Yeah, real chuff with that. Right, let's do the same on the back. So we know by now what to expect on the rear suspension. It's just as rusty as the front. Actually, the shocks are worse here on the back. So we're going to do the same again. I'm not going to bore you with it. I'm going to paint all the arms, new discs and pads, new braided hoses, but the only difference is we're going to change this arm here, which is bent. You can't really quite see how bad it is. Let me just get a piece of paper behind it. Yeah, there you go. That. Can you see that? I think my dog's back leg is straighter than that arm. That is mega bent. Can I say that on YouTube? Hopefully. What people don't realise with these, it's to adjust the rear steer on a Lotus Elise. They're made from butter. You know, you take your Elise in probably for a tyre change. The guy pops the trolley jack under, thinking that's a rear suspension arm that's pretty solid. They jack it up and then all of a sudden it's like a banana. It's very easily done, and was obviously done on this side because it's just been hammered straight. There is a bit of a kink in it as well. So yeah, we're gonna rip this all off and change them. They're £100 each, but yeah, looking at that, definitely needs it. Right, I'm gonna crack on. I'll see you in a minute. Update on the rear end. It's not going well. The other side, over here, come off real easy. All the bolts were, you know, nice and loose. Well, not loose, but they weren't seized. And then we got to this side, and so far, you can see the disc. The puller like shattered the disc getting it off. It was that seized. I even had to grinder that rear flexi off because it was so solid. And now every single one of these suspension arm bolts are absolutely solid. But we shall get there. This rear upright, look how cool that is. That looks proper thin though, doesn't it? You know, you wouldn't want to smash into a curb or something because that's going to shatter, and I bet that is a lot of money to buy. But yeah, we're going to carry on and see. Oh, it's going. Yeah, if we can clean these up. Carry on. So good news, I've finished the rear end on our Elise. Just looking at all this stuff here we got to chuck away. Quite chuffed how much we've done in the last few days. The side that was seized, I even had to cut the bolt that goes in the shockers, because they were solid as well. Here's our two rear toe links, I think they're called, track arms, whatever. Looking at them, those definitely needed changing. We're going to have to do the rear track in after, once we got it all back on its wheels and painted. But yeah, the difference is awesome. Let me show you. It was in a sorry state, looking exactly like the front, covered in dirt, cobwebs and rust, to this now. Everything's nice and free, just looks the part, doesn't it? The only problem I had, when I removed the upper suspension arms, the little ball joint dust cover was split, but luckily you can buy aftermarket packs of these dust covers. So I just took the old one off and put a new one on. Looks like brand new. It just saves us from buying a whole ball joint when it's just a rubber dust cover that's deteriorated. Chuff with that. There's only one job left, which is this. That'd be annoying when you're driving. All the little rear rubber exhaust mounts are all split and they got loads of play in. But once we've done that, all we got to do is paint the body. And then it's time to sell our Elise. Hopefully, we're going to make some money on it. But that's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and if you like what we've done this time. See you on the next video. It should be the last one, hopefully. Getting the whole thing sprayed, getting it back together. See you again. Ta-da.